Hey guys, I have a story to tell. You probably won't believe me, and frankly, I'm done trying to convince people. It was about 3 weeks ago. I was on Google looking for some funny sites to look at. I found my way to an image board. Everyone on the board spoke an extremely cryptic nonsense. They said things like, "Hail, I saw them tonight. Holding hands, we are up in high. 999240028, the king come down." That was one phrase that was used quite frequently. The king come down. At first, I thought it was spam because of the number strings that preceded it, but it was used way too frequent and erotic to be spam. There would be typos, and the numbers didn't quite appear to be random. I decided, fuck it, I'll see what's going on with this site. I posted in what appeared to be a random board, much like B. There was no discernible theme amongst the images and posts. I said hello, I'm new, and I was looking to start a funny thread. Asked them to post their funniest pictures. That was the first time it started. I remember the first post very clearly. It said, "Good to see. You joined the help. From there it got strange. I was told to ignore the graphs. I assumed it was some sort of in-joke. From there they began to speak like crazy people, posting seemingly random numbers and letters, characters from many languages. A few seemed Russian and Middle Eastern, as well as probably Chinese and Korean characters. I had no idea what was going on. Then I saw the phrase again. Numbers followed by "the king come down." Following that, my power cut off. Complete blackout. Freaked me out. I checked the fuses and the switch had been flipped. Flicking them back up, the power went back on. When I returned to my PC, there was an image on the screen of a young boy. He was Caucasian, no older than 10. I sat down, creeped out, but feeling curious. The boy smiled and appeared to speak, but I couldn't hear anything. My speakers were on, so I turned up the volume. I could only just barely hear what he was saying. It was a hushed whisper. I turned the volume up full, and it was still only a faint whisper. His lips moved slowly. I pushed my head closer to try and figure out what he said. Then he shouted loudly, a booming and terrifying voice, screaming at me like a demonic god. The image had changed. The boy was crying, his eyes bleeding heavily, as white arms tore the skin from his face. The power cut out again. Again, it was the fuses. When I got my power back, everything was normal. My PC booted up normally, and nothing creepy happened. Then I started receiving the emails. They were extremely cryptic and filled with random numbers, much like the image board posts. I got an email that was in regular English too. It said this: "Just pass it on. Just fucking pass it on." I didn't know what it meant. I got up to get a drink and froze in fear. From my ceiling hung a man, his body swinging gently. On my wall, written in Schlei blood, were the words, "The king come down." I blinked, and the sight was gone. For weeks, this continued. I went back to the image board. I was sure I was going out of my mind, just about ready to commit myself to the fucking asylum. I read a post in coherent English that said something like, "Pass on the king, pass on the king." The thread 4-0'd before I could even get to it. I went to make a new thread, and when I began typing, the words in my mind were not what appeared in the box. My fingers typed the words by their own violation. I typed two things, and 4918484. The king come down. Then somehow I realized I was passing it on. The crazy hallucinations stopped. I was good. I learned how to be safe. I'm sorry. 44919-174. The king come down.